Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Tanner Massar, I'm with Corbion Communications. Welcome to Corbion Talks. I'm here with Olivier and Eddy, our CEO, and I'm here with Eddy van Rhede, our CFO. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi.
So before we dive into the numbers, Olivier, what is your overall feeling looking back at 2021 and the last quarter?
Now, we've landed a very successful 2021 in very challenging circumstances. So very happy of the result delivery from Corbion.
Then if we zoom into the results, Eddy, what stands out in terms of, for example, the sales growth?
Yes, that's really the growth in our core business. It was already a good performance in the year 2020 with 7% growth. In 2021, so last year, it was even 15% growth and really catered by all three units, both the food business, the lactic acid division business and the algae business.
Those are really compelling numbers. Olivier, could you give a little bit of flavor of some of the key drivers behind that growth in the business?
Yeah, we've seen a very strong growth across the three business units, starting with the food solution business. It has been both on the preservation, natural preservation side, as well as the functional systems. So we've been able to come with a lot of innovative solutions to help customers either to reformulate to clean a label or, in fact, to help optimize formula cost, actually. So very good pipeline, very high conversion rate. In lactic acid and specialties, the growth has been primarily driven by our PLA joint venture with Total Energy. And this has been, of course, pulling off a lot of lactic acid out of the Corbion plant network. And finally, algae has seen a crazy, great momentum where we've been able to convert more customers and also diversify into new categories next to aquaculture, for instance, in pet nutrition.
Okay. Eddy, then the next key metric, our profitability. I think we've had, like many people, considerable headwinds in terms of input costs. Where are we?
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the drivers why the margin profile came down last year, above 16% in 2020 to 12.7% in the year 2021. This is the core business again. The biggest driver of that is exactly the input cost, as we call it, high inflation there. It's raw materials, packaging, energy, freight. All these components are on the rise in terms of cost. And it takes a bit time for a company like ours to pass that through to all of our customers. And that lagging effect really caused that margin pressure. The order of magnitude that we talk about for the total company is a total bill of 165 million euro extra input cost, as we call it.
So Eddy, what does it mean? What will you do to restore the margin?
Yeah, so with this increase in input costs, it's clear that we have to increase our sales prices. We already started doing that by the latter part of last year, but clearly the majority of the price increases are still to come as per 2022, and we're having very good progress in that field. Secondly, it's also about managing, controlling our cost base, looking for operational efficiency, so that's a second driver to restore this margin profile.
Exactly. And then we have some big investment projects that are ongoing. And these are still as planned and continuing?
Yeah, we're very positive about the growth momentum, clearly on the track record of the last 2 years, but also the visibility going forward. Mm-hmm. So that really encourages us to further continue with our investment program, also investments for expansion. Exactly. We have already announced a couple of investments to the market related to the lactic acid plant that we're building in Thailand, and that's based on new greener technology, if you will, sustainable technology without byproducts. But also we see further expansion possibilities in our algae business, in an expansion in our Brazil plant, and in the food business in an American plant. So multiple opportunities to invest behind further growth that we see. Yeah.
Then if you talk about growth, our most important asset is our workforce, our employees. That has also grown significantly, right, Olivier?
Yeah, we had, as part of our advanced strategy, an upfront investment into new capabilities, and of course, people is a key part of that. So initially, it was about indeed frontline sales, application labs, tech service, but also lately, back to Eddy's point, in our plants, because we are building new plants. We need people to run these operations, and we've also been adding staff to the support functions. We have, of course, more needs in terms of support services, regulatory, and so on. So adding quite a significant number of people over the last couple of years.
And onboarding them to make them part of the Corbion culture, right?
Indeed, onboarding, of course, in COVID pandemic times has proven to be challenging, but also getting, these new joiners as part of our culture is a very key element of our successful journey.
Exactly, and you mentioned the pandemic. Where are we on that? I mean, we see some hopeful signs in the outside world in many countries. What is your perspective?
I think indeed, we see that some of the strict measures are being lifted across the globe. However, we think that we are not yet at the end when you look at a famous supply chain disruption and logistics hurdle. So we have to stay very alert, and we are staying very alert because we still see a lot of volatility around the globe, related to the pandemic consequences, but also to some of the geopolitical, issues that we all know about.
True. Eddy, we launched our Advanced 2025 strategy a couple of years ago. So are we on track?
Absolutely on the growth. So on the growth, like we discussed before, very good growth momentum in the last 2 years, even higher than our originally ambition level. So that's a clear positive. Margin, we started off very nicely in 2020, but we took a bit of a dive last year. Now we explained the reasons why, because of the inflationary cost environment. So I think going forward, it is key for us to restore the margin profile while keeping the growth at a high pace. And that's really going to be our prime focus. And how we are going to do that? One is, again, passing through cost increases in increased sales prices, but also think about managing, controlling the cost base and looking for operational efficiency. So that's a second driver for restoring this margin profile.
And Olivier, finally, an important part of our strategy is the even increased focus on sustainability in line with our purpose, preserve what matters. What is the update there?
So very strong progress on the sustainability front. As you know, we committed on the science-based target a couple of years ago, and we are delivering on the promise. Last year, in 2021, we have reduced our carbon emission by 28%. So we are well on track with our commitment there, and we've also got, of course, external recognition with a renewal of our CDP A rating, Necovadis Platinum rating as well, and a few more. And this is important because we are standing, on our purpose, and I think it's important we keep that as one key priority of our strategic delivery.
Right, and delivery it has been, I think, in the last year, right? What is your final word on that?
Well, definitely proud of our own people, delivering such a nice set of results, keeping the operations running, making sure we get, the right supply in the right time, in the right place has been quite a challenge. And we've seen our entire organization up to the challenge, delivering outstanding results, in these current challenging circumstances. So big thank you to the entire Corbion organization.
Big thank you to you, Olivier. Big thank you to you, Eddy. And thank you all for watching Corbion Talks, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you, bye.